And so the first is that we begin and end with a meditation on Holbein's painting, which Fyodor Dostoevsky said has the force to make you lose your faith. Holbein painted his dead Christ from a literal dead body that he pulled out of the Rhine River, and this painting was intended to show how absolutely no life and no hope whatsoever was on the slab. Okay? It's a sort of move that Dostoevsky made to make you actually face the full doubt that we actually get confronted with in New York City and elsewhere. The second comes from Carpaccio. Carpaccio painted two paintings that's relevant here. One is a painting of Job, just features Job and some of the motifs of his life. But the second was Carpaccio's painting of dead Christ, with a figure of Job from the earlier painting reappearing to watch the body of Jesus on a slab. So we begin with Holbein, we move towards Carpaccio, and we'll circle back. That's all you need to know for this excerpt of Dead Christ. Holbein fishes bodies from the Rhine. Stone or marble forms a slab. He clears green mold, seaweed, the guts it takes to paint a corpse. He spreads them out to prompt his work. Oh yes, he thinks, this one will do. Emaciated brawn like chicken legs. That's right. Oh yes, he thinks, this one works nice, and from decay paints Christ. Carpaccio. Carpaccio, oh wherefore art Carpaccio? I see the ghoul who's busy painting yellow death upon deserted vistas. Skulls hide under outside kitchen tables. Mom, Heath broke the patio table again. Okay, no he didn't, it was me this time. I was eating macaroni on the windstorm when it flicked, which is why there's yellow on the siding. Skulls there crash, the sounds they make under the left rear tire. Women receiving back their dead, who still look dead, who smell so dead, whose skin has pulled gray, tight, bunny gut, desaturated noodles, who seem to have come to life. 3 cross in the upper right from hanging. Dead twigs, dead figs, dead Christ with wounds from slicing. There's death in the pot. An apple core from chomping, death in the corners, death in the rivers, death in the obscure figures in the back, the one obscured in black, but who's that in the middle? Who's that by the bar? Who sits behind the only blooming tree, framed by blue waters in a slightly purplish mountain? Who is this that sits below the only living color in that frame that from decay paints Christ? His posture. Now I know his posture, I think, his posture. Have you painted this before, Carpaccio? Is this one of your heroes, dear Carpaccio? Oh yes, there he is, now closer up, with legs still crossed. The thinker's posture. Sitting there in the blooming fields, beside a throned, lifeless, slumping Christ. Is that our Job? It is Job. Job who knew a pain like none of us living knew, who lost his kids, his fields, who lost his servants, health, his friendships. Why do bad things strike good people? Asketh elder Job, though deep down he knows none is good, and he is bad. Deep down he knows in pain he cries to God, accuses, while accusing says, I know that my Redeemer lives. That man from the close-up of 2 before our throned dead Christ now sits in the middle of the other pigment, in the middle ground with Christ on a slab, on Holbein's slab. With the death around, and the dead have walked the earth, returned at the death of one, but one is Job, who says, I know that my Redeemer lives. He, who's been full doornail dead for several thousand years, sitting, thinking, below the only blooming tree, before the river's green, beside the blue stream that dips immortals in the melting snow and back, Job speaks of promises to keep and miles to go long after we sleep. Miles to go long after we sleep. His presence there, the burial at the sepulchre, before embalming, no disassemble, formaldehyde says so simply now. God suffered more in our world than we ever could in his. Methinketh it holdeth force enough to make one find one's fate. Job sits and waits a vigil. He will not close his eyes. He will not close his eyes. And waiting isn't long compared to 4,000 or 5,000 lives. Waits he 3 short times half a time. Let everyone who overcomes eat from the tree of life. To everyone who overcomes, I'll give some of the hidden manna, the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne through the middle of the street of the city. On either side of the river is the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, producing its fruit each month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. Weep no more, woeful shepherds. Weep no more. For Lycidas, though your sorrow, is not dead, sunk though he be beneath the watery floor. For in my Christ all death has died. For in my Christ my God did bleed. For in our Christ God's ever dead, along with we who die, says Paul. As often as he rises, hear me, Holbein fished a body from the Rhine and heard it cough evermore.